Hello and welcome to the trash, and today we are here to review and recap episode 4 of Tough as Nails, season 2. So we start off the episode as simple as any other episode. The teams gather for the team challenge, which is the hay bale challenge, where they move the hay bales from point A to point B. There's a truck involved along the way. In the first team challenge with the hay bales, you obviously have the team leaders, and those are Zeus and Swifty. Now, those were probably the best team leaders outside of the ones who were team leaders last time, being either Angel or Scott, or even Liz on Dirty Hands. So yeah, I think Swifty and Zeus were probably the next best options if they wanted to switch up the team leaders a bit, because you don't want to have the same team leaders all the time. That's just not the way you want to go. So we get through the first challenge, and Dirty Hands is able to tie up the win. And yeah, Savage Crew had it for a while there, but Dirty Hands was able to just really tie it up and make it a 2-2 score currently. I think Savage Crew has 2 wins. Dirty Hands also has 2 wins. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, and which team ends up winning in the end, because I think both teams have some really strong players. Because Dirty Hands obviously has Zeus, Liz, Angel. They have a lot of good team players on their team. Savage Crew, they have Scott. They have Meryl, Swifty. A lot of good players on that team. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because this is a pretty, evenly matched. Because last season, all the good players were kind of on Dirty Hands. So we get past the team challenge. Obviously, Dirty Hands pulls out the win. And yeah, like I said, 2 wins for Dirty Hands, 2 for Savage Crew. Anyone's game at this point, really. If I were to make a guess as to who's winning, I would probably guess Dirty Hands just because they have more good people. But Savage Crew has Scott. So that's kind of where I'm iffy on that one. But what I really want to get to talking about in this episode is the individual portion. We had the individual portion with the sheep, herding the sheep in the gates. There were pairs of 2, and Scott got to choose the pairs because he won the last challenge. And the teams were as follows. There was Selly and Liz, Zeus and Arida, Meryl and Swifty, Scott and Sarah, Patrick and Freight Train. Those were the 5 teams of 2. The winners of that challenge were Zeus and Arida. And Zeus really got to shine in this episode, I think. Because, well, number 1, he led his team to victory. Number 2, he won the individual portion with Arida. So I think this was Zeus's big breakout episode to show people he ain't messing around. I already knew he wasn't messing around, but now he's showing people he ain't messing around. So that's a good thing. Scott and Sarah were, surprisingly good at getting multiple sheep in the pen at once. I think they got all 4 of them at once, if I'm not mistaken. They got at least 3 in there at once. So that's kind of impressive for Scott and Sarah. As we've already established, Scott's great at the individual portion. Sarah's really proven herself too. So you always love to see that. We get down to our bottom 2 teams. We had Selly and Liz, and then we had Freight Train and Angel. And they were battling it out to stay safe. Freight Train and Angel were the ones who unfortunately lost this individual competition, and they had to go into overtime to compete against each other. So Freight Train versus Angel. Now, Freight Train was very heavily talking a lot about how Angel needs this, and how Angel's really deserves the money, and how he needs the money for his family. And to me, that just kind of made it seem obvious that Angel was going to go. I mean, I already knew that Angel is probably not going to win overtime against Freight Train, because Freight Train's a beast. And Angel hasn't really shown himself to be good at the individual portion. Great at the team portion, like I've said this entire time. Not that good at the individual portion. So yeah, Freight Train kind of saying that gave me yeah, Angel's probably not lasting around too much longer. Now, I don't really understand Scott's strategy here, because he should have known that sending Freight Train and Angel into overtime, because that was his plan. That was his plan to do that. Sending Freight Train and Angel into overtime, Angel was going to lose. And if Angel lost the individual competition, which he did, if Angel lost the individual competition, that would give him a lot more focus on competing with Dirty Hands. So now that Angel's out of the competition, great, Angel's out of the individual competition, but he's going to be focusing a lot more on Dirty Hands. And that kind of worries me that Dirty Hands is really going to pull it together and they're really going to start winning all the challenges because Angel's giving his 100% to the team. I don't think Scott really thought this through. I mean, yeah, he wanted them both to go into overtime, but I think that might be a good move for the individual portion. For the team portion, it is most certainly not a good move for Scott and Savage Crew as a whole. And Scott even teased himself that Freight Train seems like the kind of guy who would lay down and let Angel take the win. But Angel was so far behind in that overtime challenge that even if Freight Train had stopped a little, which he did, he stopped and he was contemplating should I really take the money from this man? Angel still wasn't going to get it done. Freight Train had already made it obvious that he was kind of giving Angel a little bit of time to work with, but I think Angel was just so far behind that Freight Train was like, okay, I'm gonna have to finish the job. There's no way I can throw this for Angel. I'm gonna have to finish the job. So Freight Train, luckily, pulled through, finished the job, sent Angel to punch out, and now Angel's at full capacity for Dirty Hands, so I'd be worried if I were Savage Crew. I'd be worried. Really, Savage Crew's only hope right now is Scott. Whereas Dirty Hands obviously has Angel at full capacity now. They have Liz, they have Zeus, they have Freight Train. So yeah, I think Dirty Hands probably has a more stacked group of individuals than Savage Crew. That's just my opinion on it. I could be wrong. But yeah, Angel punched out. To be honest, I didn't think Angel was going to last much longer anyway. I had him towards the bottom of my list every single time, and I kept dropping him down a little bit farther every single time. Because he just wasn't doing enough in the individual competition to earn a higher spot on the list. However, I didn't think he would go out in this episode. I thought he'd last a little bit longer. Not a lot longer, just a little bit longer. But he didn't. He ended up punching out because he went into overtime against Freight Train. Freight Train's a beast. You gotta love the Freight Train. And that's it for my review of this episode, but if you come for my updated rankings, well, I have some news for you. My list didn't change. Obviously, it helped out that Angel was already on the bottom of the list, and now he's gone. But my list literally has not changed, so don't worry, you guys are not missing out on anything. Nothing new to see here with this list. It's the same thing. Sarah, Arida, Selly, Swifty, Meryl. And then my top 4 are pretty interchangeable. If you really want to see a drastic change on this list, then just switch around my top 4 in any order you want, because that's basically how I'm feeling at the moment. They all had their moments to shine in this episode. Liz and Selly had good moments together. Scott was obviously a beast, like always. Freight Train won overtime against Angel. Zeus led his team to victory. They all had a moment to shine. So yeah, that's really the only change I would make, is maybe flip around some people in the top 4, but I honestly didn't know what to do with it, so I just kept it the same. That's it for this video. However, I do want to talk briefly about future videos, and I do want to branch out and cover other shows. Not that I still won't be doing Tough as Nails episode reviews, because I'll definitely keep covering Tough as Nails. I will 100% every episode will upload a video about it, no doubt about it. But however, I will be probably reviewing the Challenge Dirty 30, because that season just dropped on Hulu. So I'll be reviewing that. I'll be reviewing Vendettas when I watch that. I'll be reviewing Final Reckoning when I watch that. And then the Challenge Double Agents, when that ends, I'll be reviewing that. A lot of challenge content. Obviously, maybe some Survivor videos. Yeah, definitely Tough as Nails will still have content. I'll still make Tough as Nails content. Don't you worry about that. But with that, signing off the video, goodbye.